Hello and welcome to episode 2 of The Franchise. How can the same shit happen to the same guy twice? I'm your co-host, Daniel Ehrenberg.
And I am your co-host, Henry Papali. Welcome.
And today we will be covering Die Hard 2. Die Harder? Question mark?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know. According to my DVD?
I know, but it's something I found out that I had always called it Die Harder, but it's not.
It's
I really don't.
Never on screen. Never,
No.
It's just a thing in my DVD.
I mean, it's just like calling Die Hard 1, Die Hard 40 Stories of Sheer Adventure.
Yeah, right. Like if Alien was called like Alien.
No one can hear you scream in space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whatever.
In space, no one can hear you scream.
Yeah,
sorry. Love that we corrected each other on that. Yes. Yeah.
I knew we'd get a tweet. I
Sure.
don't want tweets. Well, I
What?
do, but
Why? What
not about
happened?
that. No, just anytime you get something wrong on a podcast.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Get ready, Twitter.
before we start, I was doing some research, and I wanted to ask you, I wrote down a list of every franchise picture that is coming out this summer, and I wanted to ask you, give me on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you in seeing these?
10 being very, very interested. Couldn't be
Yes.
more interested.
Right.
All right.
Okay, and I wrote
Go
them
ahead.
down by studio.
Oh. Okay.
Paramount Pictures has Star Trek Beyond.
I'm gonna go with a 7. I want to see it. The downside, I saw a preview for it last night. I wasn't nuts about the second one, but the only downside of this third one is it's being directed by Justin Lin. So
What's wrong with Justin Lin?
he's not J.J. Abrams, and he's the Fast and the Furious guy, right?
Yeah, but he also directed some of the best episodes of Community, so he's got a little bit of
Not a fan.
I
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I gave you my answer. I'm
All
sure
right,
we'll
there's
get some feedback on that one.
Maybe. All right. There's a remake of Ben-Hur.
Interest level 0.
That is so expensive, and nobody's gonna see it.
Yeah, no interest.
It's ridiculous.
Nobody was alive who they would be marketing to. So.
Yeah. Okay, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Out of the Shadows.
-5.
Stay tuned, listeners. We will definitely be covering Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on this podcast. I love those early ones, but
So did I.
Really?
Sure, I saw him in the theater. Yeah.
All three of like the first series?
I think so. I think I saw all 3 in the theater. Well, yeah. When the guy in the rubber suit, sure, I'm in. Yeah, I like those. I mean, now that might purely be nostalgia. Now on a rewatch, I don't know. I don't think I ever saw them again, ever. So we'll see what I think. But yeah, no, but I have no interest in the new one. It looks, Jesus. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Warner Brothers has The Legend of Tarzan.
I don't have any interest, but I have nothing against it. I mean, it might be fun. I'm not going to see it.
Nobody's going to see it. Fucking
Okay.
Nobody's going to see that.
Well,
what are you
kids will probably
doing
see
at
it.
Warner Brothers? No. What little kid is like, I want to see Tarzan the Ape
Yeah,
Man?
right. True. Good point. They could go see Greystroke.
No, they could go see
Yeah.
goddamn Jungle Book, which made almost
Right.
$1 billion.
Right. No interest. I'm going to go with a 1.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll give it a 1.
Conjuring 2, you saw last night. I wrote
Saw it
that
last
down.
night.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Yeah. So my interest in it was obviously an 8 or a 9 because I really liked the first one.
Sure.
And so am I supposed to say what I thought of this one or not?
You can. What'd you think?
I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good. I thought it was actually scarier than the first one. And unlike the first one, which I thought had a few spots where I was slightly bored, this one was just taut as hell. Just not a dull moment. Just every second of it was really, really good.
You want to
really?
you want to commit to not a dull moment in a film starring Patrick Wilson?
Yeah, because he's not wearing he's not wearing an owl costume, so it's fine.
Okay.
You know.
I also have Suicide Squad here.
When I first saw the trailer, I really liked the first trailer. The first trailer. People might know what I'm talking about. I thought it was very cool. Then subsequent trailers decreased my interest, and then Batman v Superman decreased my interest.
Excuse me, full title.
Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
I just want that movie to sound as stupid as possible.
But I will see Suicide Squad, so I will see it. So, but interest level is about 5 or 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ugh, I have no interest.
It's a superhero movie, man. I got, you know.
Is it?
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. It's super villain movie. I don't know. It's David Ayer, Training Day, Fury.
Yeah.
Sabotage.
That's what I was gonna say. That was my counterpoint.
Oh, I made your point. Counterpoint,
Yeah.
Jane.
Warner Brothers also has coming up this fall Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which I'm fascinated by. This is a continuation of the Harry Potter franchise. And Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is a fake textbook that's mentioned in one of the books.
Okay.
And so that's how they're continuing.
Okay. I have only seen the first 3 or 4 Harry Potter movies. I like them. I will not see that. I just know it. That's nothing against it. No hard feelings, no anger, no ill will, but I've zero interest in that.
I'm excited for it just because I can't believe they're continuing a massive franchise by doing an adaptation of a fictional textbook.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, that's not been done probably.
No. Okay, Sony has Ghostbusters, ladies.
Yeah.
20th Century Fox has
I go right by that one.
Independence. No.
Right.
Look, that movie might be fine. The trailer, everyone went nuts about how bad it was. And look, I was expecting it to be bad, not because it's ladies, but because it's Paul Feig, who has not made anything good since Bridesmaids. And
well, we briefly mentioned him last week, and I didn't really care for Bridesmaids that much, but I did like The Heat. I admit, I liked it a lot.
I like Smades. I did not care for The Heat. But
yeah, now I can't. I'm not gonna. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna see it. My interest. Here's an
you'll see it. Get out of here.
Here's the thing. Interest level now in the new Ghostbusters for me is about 4. Maybe I'll see it.
To me, in the trailer, I liked that McCarthy was a little low key. I liked that Kate McKinnon was doing weird stuff. Kristen Wiig's always good to me. The big question mark's Leslie Jones, and I like Leslie Jones a lot on
yes,
Saturday
I know you.
Night Live.
I know you do.
I'm sort of a defender of Leslie Jones.
You are.
She seemed very loud and broad, and she's never
Yeah.
really been in a movie before, unless you count Top 5, which is basically a movie.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
But I ordered it on Netflix and had it for months and sent it to watching it.
Yeah. Nothing against Chris Rock, one of my heroes.
Hey,
saw him live in '97.
Basically a genius. You saw him in '97, so he was
Yep.
doing material from what's that one called?
I don't know. Is it Bring the Pain?
Yeah, Bring the Pain.
It might be. I don't know. It might have been earlier than that.
No. That's for sure '97.
I thought that was '99, but whatever.
No,
yeah,
that's Bigger
he was
and Blacker.
Great. Okay, he was great. It was so great. One of the best comedy shows I've ever seen. He was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. But
played in a symphony hall.
Yeah, but maybe steer clear of Woody Allen territory, buddy.
Meaning what? Trying to make a Woody Allen
top
movie?
5. Yeah.
Right.
All
Yeah.
right.
Well, I didn't see it, so. Yeah.
20th Century Fox has they already put out X-Men Apocalypse, which you thought was okay, right?
Sure. It's it's the same thing again and again and again and again, with no humor at all. It's
That's a
not in.
bummer.
It's not in the class of First Class, or the first two X-Men, or Days of Future Past. But it's kind of on par with Days of Future Past. It was fun. I mean, it just, yeah. I haven't thought about it one time. And if you ask me plot points, I couldn't even. I have no idea.
Okay. Well, 20th Century Fox also has Independence Day Resurgence.
Zero interest. Won't
I
see it.
have so much interest. That's crazy to me.
No, you loved it because when it came out, you were the perfect age.
I was 10.
I was
that's a good point.
I was 17 or 18, and I thought it was horrible. I had no. Ugh. That was also when I was going through my snobby art phase, where I begrudgingly saw it and had no interest.
Roland Emmerich is legit one of my favorite filmmakers.
Well,
I say that unapologetically.
Sure. Did he make The Patriot?
Yes.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, and maybe he's done a couple other things I've liked, but I don't care. I just have no. I know I saw another trailer for it last night.
I love Roland Emmerich. To me, he's the king of buildings falling down movies. I loved 2012. I loved The Day After Tomorrow.
Liked it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
I loved his shitty Godzilla movie.
Hated it.
Yeah,
Hated
I know.
it.
Everyone did. But I think he's really good. To me, sometimes film nerds go apeshit over Michael Bay. Like, he's the king of destruction. Yeah. And to me, like, Michael Bay, his movies always look pretty good. Like, they're interesting and hilariously misogynistic. Right. But Roland Emmerich, to me, I never have a better time at the movies than at Roland Emmerich.
The only Michael Bay movie that he directed that I ever actually really liked was The Rock.
Criterion.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Criterion Collection.
Bad Boys 2, my friend. Which we will for sure cover on the podcast.
That'll be my first. Yeah.
Yeah. Bad Boys 1 doesn't hold up great, but Bad Boys 2 is bonkers. It's
okay.
Awesome.
All right.
Okay. I also have here Universal has Jason Bourne.
Oh, big interest. I mean, it's Paul Greengrass again, so I'm in. Yeah. Okay. I mean, he did Supremacy and Ultimatum, and I even liked Legacy with Jeremy Renner, and he had nothing to do with that. But I'm big time into the new Bourne film. 10
Green
for me.
Zone.
Sorry?
Green Zone.
Yeah. Great. Oh, United 93.
No, I'm just saying Green Zone was a Greengrass Damon collabo.
Yeah, I know, but it wasn't.
Didn't
it wasn't
really work.
It was fine.
Okay, lastly, I have Disney. They've already put out a Civil War, Cap.
Right, loved it.
And they've already put out Alice Through the Looking Glass.
I wouldn't see that if I was given a free pass, a free popcorn, a giant Diet Coke.
I saw the Tim Burton one and didn't super hate it, but why bother? And it's so crazy to me that the Tim Burton one made over $1 billion, and Through the Looking Glass debuted to $30 million. And hey, that might just be the premise of this podcast. Not everything has to be a goddamn franchise.
That's for sure. Agreed there, buddy.
Sure. They've also got the live-action Pete's Dragon remake coming up.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
you
I don't know.
See Pete's Dragon?
Some of these, I don't even know how to react because
have you ever seen that
I
movie?
I know that you know how I'm already going to react, so I can't really counter it with anything witty. So it's just
I love that Pete's Dragon is being. That movie is horrible. First of all, the original.
Right.
It's also like 2.5 hours long.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like weirdly long for a movie of its day. Whereas like Dumbo is like 1 hour and 10 minutes.
Pete's Dragon, directed by Sergio Leone.
Ooh, I watched that.
Yeah. Well, that would be 5 hours. So.
My interest level would be at an all-time high.
Yeah.
And they've also, lastly, Finding Dory.
I saw Finding Nemo. I liked it. I'm not going to see that. I'm not going to see Finding Dory.
Okay, I will. I can't get enough of that Ellen DeGeneres. So that's your franchise update for the week.
It's a DeGeneres helping of her in that movie.
Oh, boy. Hey, did you want to get into something before we get into Die Hard?
Yeah, well, sure. I had a couple of years ago, I was rewatching American Hustle, and it's something just occurred to me, and I cannot stop myself from doing it in almost any major movie I see now. And to me, it's just like a personal thing.
Jerking it?
Oh, God. Folks. No. It's a thing where I just notice, since there's so many superhero movies out, how many superheroes are in each movie.
That's really funny.
And I'm watching American Hustle starring Rocket Raccoon, Lois Lane, Mystique, Batman, Hawkeye. They're the stars of the movie.
Wait, go back. Hold on. All right,
Okay.
Lois Lane's Amy Adams. Mystique is J Law.
Right.
Rocket Raccoon is Bradley Cooper. Who else did you say?
Batman.
Oh yeah, Bale.
Bale.
That's
yeah.
nuts. You're right.
Isn't that nuts? So, I do it now all the time. I can't help it, and pretty much every movie I watch that's post 2004, I notice there's some superhero in it. And believe it or not, when we get into Die Hard 2 and 3, there's some in there too. So, I bet you didn't expect that one, bro.
No, I'm looking forward to it. My main takeaway from that is that you're the type of person that rewatches American Hustle.
Well, I didn't even like that movie that much to
I
start.
know, I liked it more than you.
Yes, you did. It was on television. I didn't purposely rewatch it. It was just on, and I don't even think I sat through the whole thing. But it was one scene where all 5 people were in it, and I was like, oh my God, it's the Justice League Avengers X-Men squad. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I think it's the kind of thing, superhero movies are so mainstream now that they actually cast big movie stars in them.
Right.
It's not like the old days when it was Michael Keaton or something.
Yeah, but you can even watch Birdman, and it stars Batman and the Hulk.
Excuse me, I want that movie to sound extra stupid. Say the full title.
You can say it. I can't. I don't remember it.
Or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance.
Yeah, starring Batman and the Hulk. Oh, and Gwen from Spider-Man.
Who's that?
She's Emma Stone.
Oh, yeah.
So there's 3 in that one.
I forgot those Mark Webb Spider-Mans existed.
Yeah, so yeah, wise move. But there you go. There's 3 in that movie right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my little thing, folks. Yep. All right.
Zach Galifianakis was in a movie with Iron Man.
Which one?
Due date.
Oh. That's not quite what I was thinking, but sure. Yeah.
We're playing
Not-
6 degrees of
I'll say.
superheroes.
That's not where I
Okay.
wanted this to go at all, but
No,
that's
I know.
fine. That's fine.
All right, let's get into format.
Let's do it.
And we'll talk about Die Hard 2, Die Harder, or maybe not. It's what it says on my DVD, never said on screen. This was released July 4th, 1990, and it was directed by Rennie Harlan, written by our pal, date rapist extraordinaire Stephen E. D'Souza, and Doug Richardson. And this film was released July 4th, so this was a big tentpole. That was a thing for a while. Do you remember when July 4th, it was the biggest movie would come out July 4th?
Yeah, that 1990. I wasn't aware of that, but sure, you're right. Around the time of Independence Day.
Well, that was the big streak. Remember,
well, that's 6 years later, though.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
there was a thing for a while where Will Smith in the trades was referred to as Mr. July 4th.
Oh boy.
Yeah, because in consecutive years he did Independence Day and Men in Black, both of which
Oh,
were
okay.
gigantic hits.
Right.
And then
like Concussion.
yes, right, 7 pounds, and then he put out on July 4th. Wild Wild West, and that sort of broke the streak, and they stopped doing it.
I bet it did.
Wiki Wild.
I gotta tell you, I never saw Wild Wild West.
You're missing
never-
out on
I
Kevin
bet I am.
Kline and Robotic Spiders.
I know I am. I know I'm missing out on that. Maybe I'll check it out, but
Check
probably
it
not.
out. Produced by the great John Peters.
Oh, love. We'll have some stuff to say about him, I'm sure, at some
So
point.
much. Barbara Streisand's hairdresser turned the producer of.
Yeah. What a guy. All right. So, continue.
Okay.
What other credits on the movie you want to give before?
This
got
is
the-
another one that is based on a novel that
Love
has
it.
nothing to do with Die Hard.
Love it. Another author, another novel.
Film
Yep.
called 58 Minutes, which is probably how much story they actually had to fill
Right.
this movie, even though it's
Book-
2 hours
book-
and 10
book.
minutes.
My friend meant to say book called 58 Minutes.
What did
Sorry.
I say?
You said film.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a novel.
That's in production right now. The film of 58 Minutes.
No, it's Die Hard 2.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
It was a subtle joke there.
I got the joke, motherfucker.
They turned it into 15 minutes with Robert De Niro.
Oh, a 15 minutes reference. Yeah, I love that. You know what I was thinking of during Die Hard with a Vengeance? There's one part where he's like, we got to get across town in this amount of time. And I was like, what is this, 16 blocks?
Yeah. Die Hard 2, starring Senator Brent Thompson.
That's right. Yeah, he's in it. Wait, but the guy who wrote that original book that Die Hard 1 is based on, Nothing Lasts Forever, gets a character credit, which I love.
Yeah. Walter Wager.
Yeah. Yeah, what's that dude's name again?
Walter Wager.
That's not it at all. You're making that up.
No, the author of the book is called Walter Wager. 58 Minutes. The author of
no, I'm thinking of, but the dude who wrote the original,
Roderick
that weird book that's the sequel to The Detective or whatever.
Roderick Thorpe.
Yeah, he gets a weird credit on this movie for no reason.
He gets the characters created by.
Yeah, but he didn't create John McClane. Like, he created a character that was vaguely based on John.
Right.
You know, it's odd. This movie was a huge hit. Budget $70 million. It made $240 at the box office.
Wow.
Big movie. But it should be noted, only 2 years later, budget $70 million as opposed to $28 for the first one.
That is a very good point.
Yeah, 20th Century Fox all in on the Die Hard franchise at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So
all right.
let's talk about it.
All right.
I think it's an okay movie. I remember liking it more than I did watching it for the podcast. I don't think I've ever watched this movie with like a critical eye.
When I saw it, I really realized how little I had seen it, and in a rare moment that may not happen too much on this whole experience, I felt exactly the same way as I did, 20 years ago. The same way as you did. It's okay.
Well, I mean, I
But
saw this movie.
I liked it, but it's okay.
I saw this movie probably the same day that I saw the original Die Hard for the first time, because I binged those first three in preparation for the fourth one, as I said last week.
Yeah.
But I mean, this movie's nothing. It's just a carbon copy of the first one. Yeah. I don't know why we have to check in with Reginald VelJohnson eating some Twinkies in one scene.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was amazing. Yeah, the only part of that I liked was the Die Hard 1 with this, subtle but not like the 80s references that aren't referenced. What I love about this is it's 1990 and they're already like full throttle referencing that they're in the 90s. So like right away he's like trying to figure out the fax machine with Reginald VelJohnson, and I thought that was hilarious. And it's like they're so self-consciously already referencing a decade that just began.
It is crazy. There's a line in this movie I wrote down. It's the 90s. Microchips, microwaves, airphones.
Airphones. Yeah. I remember airphones. Yeah.
It was a big deal. Were we still smoking on airplanes at this point?
We sure were. I mean, I wasn't.
That's crazy.
Because I would have been like 10. But, yeah, right. Yeah. Definitely smoking sections. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's a thing from my childhood I remember that's really bizarre to me now. Like, I remember walking into like a diner and like having to choose the little non-smoking section.
They're smoking all over the airport in the movie too. I actually made a note of that.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Bruce has a cigarette in his mouth. This is another case of our heroes allowed to smoke cigarettes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. One of the first shout outs in the movie, you know how they gave the Arnie shout out in the first one, was I guess Richard Donner's brother, I believe, is Joel Donner, and I'm not thinking of Joel Silver. Okay. Joel Donner, I believe, had some kind of producing credit on this movie, okay? Which explains something I bet you didn't catch, brother. When Bonnie Bedelia, in the first 10 minutes, is on the plane, she's sitting next to an old woman. You recall what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, doing some hilarious broad comedy that does not work for a single goddamn second.
No, it doesn't. But if you look at if you're watching carefully, the woman, when she does her ridiculous joke, she's holding a magazine that has a picture of Danny Glover and Mel Gibson on it, and it says "Armed, Dangerous, and All Yours." And it is a promo for Lethal Weapon 2. Ain't that something?
Yeah, that's interesting. Did those come out around the same time, Lethal Weapon 2 and Die Hard 2?
Yeah, it was 89. So there's definitely a little... I mean, it's really fast, but I don't know why my eyes diverged down the page, but it was on her magazine, and she's reading a magazine that has... a little Lethal Weapon 2 reference.
This is another case of just Hollywood in the late 80s, early 90s being incestuous and weird.
Yeah.
And, I mean...
The movie had already come out, that's why it was kind of funny. It was it's not really a promotion, but it's just hey guys, remember this one?
Joel Silver and Mel Gibson have definitely double penetrated a lady at some point.
You have first-hand knowledge of this? Or?
I think we can say that, no knowledge, but I think I can say that without even hesitating.
Okay.
Yeah, that has happened.
All right. You said it, not me.
Hollywood was gross back then. All right. Hey, what's your feeling on, John McTiernan did not come back for Die Hard 2.
No,
We get Rennie Harlan.
Yeah.
Who, this is a guy who at the time had experience already ruining franchises with A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, which was the worst Nightmare on Elm Street movie until Nightmare on Elm Street 5.
I can't speak to that, but I mean, had that franchise not already been ruined?
No. It was
really
asking. Good. We'll get to Nightmare on Elm Street, but the first film I think is a classic. The second movie was kind of them trying to do the first movie again, basically. And then Wes Craven came back to write the third movie and produce it, and they brought back Heather Langenkamp from the first one, and that movie is a stone cold classic.
Okay.
And so then Rennie Harlan came in, was like, here's a new group of teenagers. The twist is you don't care about fucking any of them.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Did you notice the one of the drug dealer that they're smuggling in was the actor Franco Nero, formerly played Django in the old Django movies?
No, I didn't. That's
and he's in and he's in Django Unchained.
Yeah, well, of course he is.
Yeah, but yeah, that was.
Do you think
was
Quentin
funny.
Tarantino likes old B movie stars?
I'm not sure. The jury's been out on that for a while.
I know.
I don't think he does.
We'll find out eventually.
I wish he'd give them a chance, a second chance.
Michael Parks. Hey,
Robert
you know
Forster.
that? Oh yeah. Oh, I love him and Jackie Brown.
Oh, he's
We're
so
ripping
good.
on Quentin, but he's usually on point with that.
Oh, he's always on point
Yeah.
with that. Yeah.
Hey, did you know that Rennie Harlan directed multiple films in 1990?
I probably looked it up, but I didn't write that down because it probably didn't strike me. Go ahead.
He directed Die Hard 2. The same year, he directed The Adventures of Ford Fairlane,
Oh, that's
starring
right.
Andrew Dice Clay.
Oh
Hey!
my god! Oh my god! Wow!
Hickory dickory dock. John McClane can suck a cock.
Oh my fucking lord! Wow, yeah, that's right. Is that anything else that year? That he?
No, that's it for that year.
That's
But
enough.
He
That's
followed
enough.
up Die Hard 2 with Cliffhanger, which I think gave him a little clout in
I
the
like
industry for a while.
That was fun.
yeah,
was-
yeah, it's okay. John Lithgow's good in it.
Yeah, he is.
And then he made like 3 bombs in a row, and that kind of killed his career.
Cutthroat Island, right?
Yeah, which was big budget and nobody saw it. And
Right.
and then The Long Kiss Goodnight, the Shane Black film, which I actually really like, but
Yeah.
nobody saw that either.
Including me.
Yeah. The lesson here is don't build your career on Gina Davis film.
Oh, come
and-
on.
Sorry, buddy.
Love The Fly, Beetlejuice. Come
No,
on. man.
yeah. Back in the 80s, she was a name, through like Thelma and Louise. But then,
Yeah,
like after
right.
that, like she just faded.
Yeah. I don't think that's the lesson, but okay. Yeah,
And then Deep Blue Sea, which I remember seeing on my 13th birthday.
that's fun.
Yeah,
That's a fun movie.
I really like that movie, but that's just
Yeah.
another one that no one saw. you
Right.
know?
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah.
I think it did better than Cutthroat Island and Long Kiss Goodnight, but only because it was cheaper. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
did around
yeah.
the same at the box office, but
Right,
it
right.
just didn't cost as much.
Yeah.
So yeah, he sort of ruined himself, but hey, this was the height of it. Die Hard 2, Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
Oh my God! Can I say in Die Hard 2, there were only 2 moments that I actually would have to call them iconic. I didn't remember either of them, which was nice when they came up. But I remember, at least when I was younger, it being a big like clip that they'd show like during any kind of montage of action films when he it hits the ejector seat and his flies up in the ejector seat right towards the camera.
That is horrible.
That was that was a big deal. Roger Ebert said he'd never seen anything like it.
Ugh. I didn't read that review. Did
I'm
he
just
like
saying.
Die Hard 2? Because he didn't
gave
like
it-
the first one.
I know he didn't. He gave it 3.5 stars.
That's insane. Go back to
You know-
sleep, Roger Ebert.
You know what else is more insane? Are you ready for this?
What?
I can't believe you don't know this. Are you ready to have your mind blown?
Yeah.
For real. For real. Are you ready to have your mind blown?
Sure.
It was on Gene Siskel's top 10 movies of 1990.
Well, that doesn't blow my mind because Gene Siskel is not that great. But
But that's the same year as Goodfellas, and I mean,
was
no,
Goodfellas on his list?
I believe it was number 1 on both
Oh,
their
okay.
lists.
Well,
Yeah.
that's probably accurate.
Obviously, but just put Die Hard 2. That means Die Hard 2 was 5 slots below Goodfellas.
Was The Adventures of Ford Fairlane anywhere on these
It was
lists?
number 3.
Hickory dickory dock.
All right. And the other moment, one of the only moments in the movie I liked was the when I forgot about how he lights the plane on fire at the end. That was cool, man. With the fuel leaking out, and he lights the lighter, and he gets to say the line, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker." That was cool.
Yeah. They wait 2 hours before.
I
he
didn't think the
delivers
movie was that bad, to be honest.
I don't
It's-
think it's that bad. Like, it's fine. It's a solid entry in the Die Hard series, but there are just things about it that I thought were terrible. Like, it's just a carbon copy of the first film structurally, but everything has to be like bigger and bloodier and
I
more
agree.
badass.
And it's the last Die Hard movie to feature an extraordinarily stupid protagonist who fights McClane every step of the way.
You mean antagonist?
No, because he's not an antagonist.
Oh, you talking about D-Franz?
Yeah.
You talk about my man Francie?
Yeah, because he took Paul Gleason's place as the guy who just will not listen to. He's just a dumb character.
He's a
not
horrible character. But
I mean,
the one thing I will say for this movie is the casting is pretty on point.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's a shitty character, but it could have been so much worse. Dennis Franz is awesome.
Yeah, you're right.
And
you're right.
like, also, he is swearing. We talked about this in the first movie where we're going to sort
Yeah.
of track that through the series. Like,
Yeah,
by the
yeah.
time we get to the fourth one, it's PG-13. And in the
Right.
first one, there's just blow and boobs.
Right.
And the second one, Dennis Franz never utters a goddamn sentence without saying fuck. It's
That's
amazing.
true. It is amazing and great. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But I'll also say, in terms of casting, this movie might have been a disaster if not for William Sadler.
Oh, I was just gonna say that he's great. He's so good.
An underrated character
Oh,
actor.
and
he
he
is great in everything I see him in, and he's
Me
the
too.
kind of guy who can pull off showing up in an action movie nude and being evil. Like, I mean, this movie 3 seconds.
That was such a dumb scene, but yeah.
3
okay.
minutes into this movie, we're looking at William Sadler's bare ass, and
Yeah.
it's like, what do you think you're doing? This isn't Manhunter.
Right. I
Like-
kept thinking because I couldn't remember the movie, I kept thinking, okay, so this will lead up to like a scene where at the end where he's displaying his martial arts prowess, but he doesn't. He just, has a few punches to John McClane on a wing of an airplane. So he's not really it bears no fruit.
It's nonsense.
It's
But
nonsense.
William Sadler
Not his fault.
is such a good, classy actor that he just, every scene he's in, it gives it an air of respectability
Yeah.
in a film called Die Hard 2, Die Harder.
I agree. Question.
And-
What do you think of John Amos?
I thought he was pretty needless in this film, but I love John Amos.
Yeah, he's great. I liked him in this film. I thought he was good he never in any. I haven't seen him in that much. Good Times and Coming to America. But I don't think he's really
great on The West Wing.
okay. I don't think he's really ever played a bad guy. So it was kind of neat to see him do that.
Yeah, that actually was pretty cool. He's one of these guys that's perfect for that because he's a good enough actor that he can sell sort of evil.
Yes.
But he's one of these guys where, like, the second he shows up on screen, he's just so likable. Like, you want to love John Amos no matter what he does. And so, yeah, it when he has, like, sort of a heel turn in this movie, it works.
heel turn. Yeah. What was I going to say? And two superheroes in this movie.
And a supervillain. Who are the superheroes?
Okay, actually, no. Maybe we're thinking of two different things. Well, they're not superheroes. They're in the superhero universe that we currently
No,
occupy.
I got you. Who are you
right.
talking about?
Vondi Curtis Hall is Ben Urich,
Oh, yeah, right.
and William Sadler is the President of the United States in Iron Man 3.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, William
I'm
Sadler
just saying.
to me, I got into William Sadler, and I just want to give a quick shout out because this is like something I don't get to talk about that often. William Sadler was on a show called Wonder Falls that was canceled after 4 episodes, but is available on DVD, and there's 13 episodes that were produced, and it's one of the best shows of all time.
Yeah, I didn't
And but yeah, William Sadler is amazing. That's what introduced me to William Sadler. Like when I saw Die Hard 2 for the first time, I was like, "Oh, it's the dad from Wonder Falls."
Oh man. Okay.
Do you know who the super villain is that was in this movie?
Are you gonna say John Leguizamo?
I am gonna say John Leguizamo.
What's he a supervillain in? Spawn.
He plays the clown in Spawn.
That's right. I didn't.
Mhm.
Okay. Yep. Good call. Good call.
He shows up in this movie for 4 seconds.
Yeah, he does.
And apparently, he has one line of dialogue, and supposedly it's not actually him. It was ADR'd after the fact.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
According to him in an interview, he was supposed to have a bigger part in this movie, and the director thought he was too short to play a terrorist.
Right, because terrorists are generally always tall.
Well, Sadler is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's
relative.
so weird.
That is weird.
Yeah, it's just really strange in this movie. All of a sudden, like, for 1 second, John Leguizamo shows up as a computer hacker and then just
Right.
disappears.
Well, he could have. He could have been like in 1989's License to Kill, 2 weeks in a row. Reference to License to Kill. He could have been the Benicio del Toro. Remember, he's like the henchman with no lines in License to Kill. Do you remember that at all?
No, I don't, but that's amazing.
Yeah, he's the #1 henchman to Robert Davi in that, and that was kind of his start of being, I mean, he still had quite a while till like, Usual Suspects and all that, but he was,
yeah. Usual Suspects was really his breakout.
But that's 6 years prior. He was it's a big role actually in License to Kill with no lines, but it's a big he's in it a lot. So maybe Leguizamo thought maybe he'll get that kind of thing going, but didn't. So anyway,
when did Leguizamo become a thing? Like The Pest in like the mid '90s? Was that his first big role?
I mean, I remember Summer of Sam, but I know he was quite famous before that.
No. I mean, The Pest and Spawn are both before that.
I know, but
he had Freak, the sort of one-man show he did, and Spike Lee directed like the film version of it.
Oh, beyond me. Yeah, I didn't follow that.
It's really good, actually. I'm not a Leguizamo. I'm not going to sit here and defend John Leguizamo.
Yeah.
But I remember watching that in high school, and it was pretty impressive, like the Spike Lee Freak.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was sort of there was this weird period of time where John Leguizamo was kind of a movie star.
That's funny. That's funny. I know I mentioned it already, but I'm going to mention it again. Die Hard 2 starring Senator Fred Thompson, future presidential candidate in 2008.
That's right. Yeah, and Law and Order cast member.
Well, let me tell you something. Maybe the best presidential candidate actor of all time.
What, you're not a big Bedtime for Bonzo fan?
No, he certainly blows Ronald Reagan out of the water.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good actor. I was watching that, and I'm looking at him. I'm going, it's obviously good casting, but he's good.
He's good, but
he's a good actor.
He's limited. He's one of these guys. He can play an authority figure.
Yeah, he's not going to be Plainview, Daniel Plainview or anything. But
he couldn't pull off The Pest. I'll tell you that.
I'll tell you that too.
Yeah.
Die Hard 2. All right.
I'd love to see Fred Thompson as the clown in Spawn.
That would have been something.
Okay.
Why not? Why not? It would have been more successful in his presidential run.
Ooh, shots fired.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, I'll just go back to the ejector thing. Is horrible.
I liked it,
and it's so bad, dude.
The effects are bad, but it's a cool idea. This is pre-CGI, man. Cut it a break.
I hate CGI.
No, I know. I'm just saying. Look, none of the stunts are anywhere near the first movie. I mean, there's no jumping off the building with the fire hose. It's just not there. But I thought it was cool.
I would agree with the previous statement. Okay,
yeah.
Let me say just a couple more points on Die Hard 2.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I wanted to say last week was I don't think I expressed enough how wonderfully moving the relationship between John McClane and his ex-wife is in the first movie. It's, for an action movie, it is fully thought out and fully formed.
That's true.
And wonderful for a character relationship. You brought up the Rolex thing, and that's, I sort of shit on you because that's what I do, but that is a beautiful little metaphor. And
you didn't really shit on me. You just kind of said my entire hypothesis
I
had already been.
I stone-faced you.
You were like, it's already been said. Shut up.
Yeah.
Right.
But it hurts this movie, where now it starts and John McClane, they had to solve their entire relationship at the end of that first movie. And part of it was that John McClane is a New Yorker through and through. And there's a country divide, a continental divide between these two characters.
Right.
And so, to me, to start this movie and say, oh, he's an LAPD guy now.
I didn't mind that.
What conflict? What wonderful conflict.
I guess knowing what we then know happens, it doesn't really matter.
No, that's my point. Die Hard 2 is a movie where nothing matters.
Interesting.
The first film had stakes.
Yeah.
The second movie, nothing. I couldn't care less. And then he gets reunited with the wife at the end of the movie after supposedly 58 minutes that feel interminable, and it's like it's just exactly the end of the first movie, but without anything there emotionally.
But without Bonnie Bedelia in the movie, you can't have what I thought was very cool and funny. Cool might not be the word. Funny repartee between Bonnie Bedelia and William Atherton.
No, get William Atherton out of this movie. There
I
is
liked
no need for that character to reappear.
I
It's
liked it.
ridiculous.
I
To me,
liked it.
William Atherton reappearing in this movie is like that moment in Speed 2 Cruise Control where the guy who had his car run over in the first one all of a sudden like shows up and it's like, I'm on vacation now, and then he gets his car run over again by the boat. Like, oops.
I didn't see Speed 2 Cruise Control.
Jan de
So-
Bont, bro.
Yeah, I know. I will, obviously. It's got my
For
girl
this
Sandy.
podcast, probably.
And it's got my girl Sandy B in it. So I will check it out.
All right,
but,
let's wrap up Die Hard 2 and
Yeah,
talk a little about Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yeah,
What,
yeah.
what do you give Die Hard 2 on our scale? Where 1 is just a piece of shit that never had to be made. 2 is pretty bad but has its moments. 3 is solid entry in the franchise. It's okay. 4, really good movie. You know, probably one of the best. And 5th, like, in the conversation for best of the series.
I'm giving it 3.
I am too. And that's funny because like I shit on this movie and I feel like you're defending it. But
that's
we're meeting
just
in the middle.
I think that's the nature of the way this conversation went because I had no intention. I didn't know, folks, we haven't talked about this prior. I didn't know where you were coming on this, so I just, I didn't feel like I'd be on the defensive, and I had a lot, I got a lot of problems with the movie, but everything you were throwing at me, I kind of wasn't bothered by. So, so we're coming out even, 3 stars.
Who's the MVP and LVP of the film, not including the main character, John McClane?
Ooh. All right. I'm going to give the MVP to William Sadler. I'm going to give the LVP. I don't want to do it because he's a good actor, but the
Dennis
character,
Franz.
he's just so bad.
I agree.
Yeah,
And I'm going to
it's just-
give my MVP to Bonnie Bedelia, who
Oh, look at you! You just said she wasn't necessary in the movie.
I think that storyline just needs to carry more weight. But to me, I think it's valuable to have Bonnie Bedelia. Like, just the fact that Holly McClane is in this movie gives it some stakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. I guess.
Okay. So, no Die Hard for 5 years.
5 years, people.
And then we return. Do we know why there was no Die Hard for 5 years?
I don't know. Turnaround hell, movie hell. I don't know.
I'm going to say it's probably Bruce.
That's probably, he was kind of busy.
He was busy at the time. We know that
Hudson
he's kind
Hawk.
of a dick in real life.
He was busy making Hudson Hawk.
Yeah. Is that what he was busy with? And Color
Yeah,
of Night?
And I'll tell you what, though, he was in Mortal Thoughts. He was excellent. So he did that. That was very cool. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what he was a major star. He had stuff to do. So Die Hard was, probably figured he'd got greener pastures to move on to. But then
we have Die Hard with a Vengeance.
then we have Simon, based on Simon Says by Jonathan Hensley.
Is that a screenplay?
Yeah, it was a spec script,
Okay, but
which was also going to be had the potential to be Lethal Weapon 4.
But I don't think it had anyone in it, right? Wasn't it just a spec script that
I
was
believe
not
so.
a franchise picture?
Right.
And then they sort of reverse engineered it to include John McClane. Right. Okay. Jonathan Hensley, who went on to be a filmmaker, right? Didn't he?
Yeah.
He directed that shitty Thomas Jane Punisher movie.
Yes, he did. Oh, Boise, Idaho. Yeah, he sure did. Yeah.
But Die Hard with a Vengeance comes in 1995 with a budget of $90 million. It made $366 million. So this is still a gigantic franchise.
Wow. Yeah.
And it came out May 19th. And this was in the era where the sort of summer blockbuster. Remember, people made a big deal about this for a while, where like at first it was just like June and July. and then they started like pushing shit back, where it's like, now summer movies are starting to come out in May.
I did not know that.
That was a big conversation at the time. I remember when The Matrix came out in April. People were even like in the trades talking about like, is this a thing? Are summer movies going to start coming out in April? And that never really happened. I feel like May
now, did The
1st.
Matrix come out in April, or did it make you think it came out in April and it was actually not coming out in April?
No, it came out in April, but it was sort of a surprise hit.
Right.
And
no, that was an inverted Matrix joke. In case you didn't catch it.
I didn't catch it. What'd you say?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
It made you.
Sorry, I took the blue pill there.
Sorry.
I'll
bet you took the blue pill.
Yeah, The Matrix was sort of a surprise hit. It came out like on 420 or something like that.
Oh, Lord.
And people were like all pumped. Like, is summer movie season going to expand even further back? But it kind of never did.
Yeah.
But this is May 19th. So at this point, this is the heart of summer. That Die Hard with a Vengeance is coming out in. And probably the bigger storyline here is that John McTiernan, on the heels of the utterly massive failure of Last Action Hero, is back in the director's chair.
And back in form.
Absolutely. This is a good movie.
This is a great movie.
The first thing that struck me about Die Hard with a Vengeance is it's so crazy the amount of New York that is in the DNA of this franchise.
And
it takes us till the third movie to actually see John McClane in like his natural habitat.
Like that a lot.
It's
That's
odd,
a great,
though.
Yeah,
I feel like he
odd.
probably should have been in New York in that second one.
Yeah, but then we might not have had this. So, you're right. But in the first explosion over the Love and Spoonful song, which was a great intro to that movie, by the way.
Yes, Summer in the City. That really good choice. And this movie takes place in summertime in New York City and really manages to capture that feeling. I mean, I live in Brooklyn, New York, and, it's summer now, and this movie... Like, I remember summers in New York in the 90s. Like, this captures that. It really does. That sort of, just the tone of New York.
Yeah. And I lived there in the aughts, and I was still there. Hot, sweaty, miserable. Crowded subways. No, but on a nice note, I know what you're saying. The city is truly a character in the movie. I mean, every plot twist, every plot point. You don't like that I said that?
I don't like any. Woody Allen's Manhattan. You can almost consider the city as the third major lead of the film.
Listen. The entire movie revolves around them negotiating well-known points of New York. Okay, so
Sex in the City. Is a television series. You might think that Carrie is the lead, but in actuality, it's New York.
I don't have to take this abuse.
Is all that fucking.
I'm not taking this abuse. I believe that the city is a fully alive. There's dialogue written for the island of Manhattan in this movie.
Yeah, so. He goes, "Hey, I'm walking here."
Did you see Dustin Hoffman in the little cameo when the cab almost hits him?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
my two favorite lines that New York City has in Die Hard with a Vengeance are, "Hey, I'm walking here," and "Hickory dickory dock."
Okay, so we've established that Daniel does not like when people say the city or anything like that is a character in the movie. It's a cliche.
I don't like it. Hey, how about the N-word 9 minutes into this film?
Yeah, wow. Well, or it's spelled out. Yeah,
but thing. Still, man.
Yeah, very bold.
This movie is going for it. There actually is like a little bit of like... This movie's a little like Do the Right Thing if it was a giant budget action movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of racial stuff in this movie, obviously.
There's so much racial tension, and that like the summer heat, like sort of the temperature being like an analog for like rising tensions.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course we have DJ Love Daddy is the second lead.
I don't. Oh, wow. Whoa. Holy God. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Samuel L. Jackson is in this
Wow.
film.
Here I was thinking Nick Fury and Pulp Fiction, and you pull out that. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, but Pulp Fiction's really interesting to bring up because Samuel L. Jackson is an actor who had been around forever. I mean, he was in the stage version of A Soldier's Story with Denzel Washington in the early 80s.
He is the bank robber in Coming to America.
Yeah, absolutely he is. And he was just sort of a working actor for a long time.
Jungle
and then
Fever.
speaking of Quentin Tarantino kind of putting actors on the map or back on the map.
For sure. And a reuniting of Pulp Fiction actors, too.
Oh, that's right. Bruce Willis is in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, and there's a little Pulp Fiction reference there. I bet you didn't catch this because it's kind of
not.
Because it's kind of musical. Not that you wouldn't catch a musical reference, but, you know, since you made fun of me, I'll make fun of you. He gets out of the... there's 100 times he gets out of a taxi, but one of the times Willis gets out of the taxi and Samuel L. Jackson says something like, I didn't fucking think I'd be doing this with my day or something, and Bruce Willis goes, you're telling me this morning I was smoking cigarettes and watching Captain Kangaroo. Now, in Pulp Fiction... right before he runs over Ving Rhames, he's listening to a song in the car, and it is the song Captain Kangaroo.
What a nerd.
How is that, though, for catching a reference? It's obviously intentional.
It's good. I'm ripping on you, but of course that's intentional.
I don't give a shit what you do.
That's great. That's great.
Captain Kangaroo reference.
Yeah.
Obviously a reference to Pulp Fiction. Why
Look,
would you?
Pulp Fiction was a hot movie at the time. Like, that movie was massive in 94.
Yeah.
It was a mainstream hit. It was nominated for a bunch of Oscars. Lost all of them to Forrest Gump.
Oh, God.
Then... yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I wish they made that Forrest Gump sequel so we could talk about that on the podcast.
That would be phenomenal.
Remember, that was going to be a thing. Do you remember that?
I do not.
Yeah, it was going to be sort of like dark. It was going to be like dealing with his like PTSD post-Vietnam.
Get out of here.
Yes!
Vietnam was a living hell. I couldn't get past being shot in the ass.
I wake every morning thrashing about jerking off and punching Jenny.
I was in the VA hospital, and I didn't know where I was half the time. Yeah, that didn't happen, though. So that's a shame.
I kept running. Hey.
Well, I just do this all day.
I can, of
Forrest
course,
Gump
do that
flashbacks.
all day. Seat taken. But no, Pulp Fiction was hot, and so like Samuel L. Jackson at this point was kind of a get. Like this was probably the height of like his draw for Hollywood.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
even more so than now when he's like Nick Fury, and
Right.
you know he can get paid for showing up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for 4 seconds and saying
Right.
one line of dialogue.
Right.
Yeah, but I thought this movie, part of the feel, sort of the tone of New York in it, was I think John McTiernan was doing a thing where it's like a little bit of a love letter to the kind of New York movies of the 70s, including Taxi Driver, obviously, where there's a lot of natural light and there's a lot of sort of, you know, those like really fast zooms that like Scorsese does a lot. Like there's a lot of that in this movie. Yeah. And it's interesting.
It is interesting, but New York's not a character in the movie. But anyway, you're right. You're right.
Okay, what do you? Here's another thing this movie did that sort of fascinates me that I feel like a lot of franchises do. And hey, we talked about Nightmare on Elm Street earlier, where the second one is sort of a carbon copy of the first one, and then in the third one, we're bringing back elements of the first. So we're there's, you know, Heather Langenkamp is back. I feel like a thing when a second movie isn't that great, a film franchise tries to make a third film where all of a sudden, no, we're not doing sequels anymore. This franchise has a mythology.
Definitely.
And that's what this third Die Hard attempts to do. Where now, like in the second one, William Sadler was just, it's another terrorist.
Right.
The third one, we're doing. Oh, it's Jeremy Irons. He seems like just another terrorist, but no, he's Hans Gruber's brother.
Love it.
It's
Love it.
stupid, but it works.
I don't think it's stupid.
I mean,
I think
it's almost to me like in the fourth Jaws movie when it's like now
Oh,
Jaws
come
is
on.
specifically targeting the Brodies.
That's great. Good one. Except, that's an animal, swimming to Florida from Long Island, and this is a person. So it's slightly different. But,
No, and it works. It works. It's a little bit silly and it's a lot of bit contrived, but I do think it works, and it immediately raises the stakes and makes you care in a way that the second movie doesn't really. And I love Jeremy Irons in this film.
So do I. I think
Katie, my girlfriend, I watched this with her the other night, and she thinks Jeremy Irons is terrible in this movie.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of odd, but I think he's fucking cool, and he's outsized. I get it, but he's a villain in a Die Hard movie.
I think he's great.
Be outsized if you want.
I think he's great. I think he's one of the best villains. I really do. I know that's more than you would ever say, but I
Of
think
all
he's,
time,
I think he's great.
that's absurd.
I think he's great.
easily the second best villain in a Die Hard movie.
I think
and
he is a
spoiler
great
alert,
villain.
I quite like Timothy Olyphant and Maggie Q in that.
Yeah.
that
Well,
fourth
that's
one.
you.
But,
That's you.
well, stay tuned next week.
I think he's fantastic. I love him in the role. I think he's great. I don't know all time. I mean, I don't know, but there was one reviewer, I don't remember, some pointless hack who wrote he's not fit to tie Alan Rickman's shoelaces. Now, come on. That's really unfair.
Yeah,
I mean, Jesus.
The reason to say that is not because Jeremy Irons isn't great. It's just because Alan Rickman's so ridiculously great.
Right.
Yeah, that I mean, to me, that critic probably regretted writing that if he ever thought about it again. Just because that seems to me like a reactionary thing to say.
Yeah,
like maybe
yeah.
if I saw Die Hard with a Vengeance in theaters in 1995 as an adult,
Yeah.
it might have annoyed me. But
Right.
like, come on, get real.
Yeah.
It's Die Hard 3 of 5.
Right.
Jeremy Irons is a pretty good villain.
Yeah, I mean, look who we're getting these days. I mean, we got Jeremy Irons to be in a Die Hard film. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's a reversal of fortune, I mean, it's a great actor here. I mean, absolutely. Dare I say, as great an actor is Alan Rickman.
Is Jeremy Irons from Dead Ringers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and to me, Dead Ringers is
That's
one of
my
my
favorite.
favorite performances of all time. Like, and I can say that. Like, I love that movie. I think it's possibly David Cronenberg's best.
It's my
film.
favorite. It's my favorite.
And to me, most actors, when playing twins, try to do a thing where it's like one of them is like very alpha and one of them's very beta or something.
Right, like Schwarzenegger and DeVito.
Shut the fuck up. No, when I mean like when an actor is playing both twins.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I know. I hope they make that twins sequel so we could do that.
That'd
But,
be fun.
They're working on it. But yeah, Jeremy Irons to me in that movie is so brilliant because he plays twins that are different but subtly different.
Right.
Like it's they're two different characters, but not in obvious ways. Like you
Well,
almost have to watch that movie twice.
And I think that's also testament to Jeremy Irons' acting ability of being he is not an overstated actor. I mean, he is always understated and just gets the point home in anything he's in.
He's a talented actor, and I think Die Hard with a Vengeance continues actually. Like, say what you will about Die Hard 2, but it has Dennis Franz, William Sadler, and John Amos in lead roles, like really good character actors. And
Right.
I think Die Hard 3 does too, in a very interesting way. There's odd choices.
Yeah, Graham Greene.
Yeah, Colleen Camp.
Larry Brigman, who I once saw at Barnes & Noble. You don't even know who that is, do you?
No, I don't.
That's
I
Inspector Cobb,
Okay.
the main guy.
Here's my favorite though. Katya.
Yes, she's an indie rock star.
Yeah, Katya, who's sort of Jeremy Irons' muscle in the film.
Uh-huh.
Like, basically the character Maggie Q ultimately plays in the fourth one. Or that, who's that dead guy from the first one?
Alexander Goodenough.
Yeah. But yeah, so they have a character, it's the lead villain's muscle, and they choose fucking Sam Phillips, who's a female indie rock musician who went on to write the score for Gilmore Girls.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, one of my favorite television scores of all time. There are Gilmore Girls music cues that make me cry instantly. Like, just the music cue. Just the music cue.
Yeah. That's good. I'm glad. I'm you know.
The Gilmore Girls score is so good that there's a YouTube video that's just a montage of score from Gilmore Girls, and I've watched it multiple times.
As fertile ground as it would be to rip on you for that, I've never seen Gilmore Girls, so I can't even comment on the music. So I'm going to refrain. I trust you on that.
You'd like it. You'd like it. I feel like you wouldn't like Gilmore Girls, as great a show as I think that is. It's one of my favorites of all time. But
I know.
I do think you'd be able to appreciate the score just as someone.
Well,
who
sure. I
appreciates
love.
scores.
Yeah. Superhero count in this movie too.
Who?
Jeremy Irons, Alfred the Butler,
And Nick Fury.
Yep.
Yeah.
Couldn't find anyone else, but that was pretty good too. You know.
What movie is he Alfred in?
In fucking Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
I just wanted you to say the title again.
I know you did. I know you did. I know you.
Oh, that's so stupid.
To quote John McClane, that title, it's a bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going yippee-ki-yay motherfucker at the very end again in this one.
Yeah, for maybe the last time.
Does he say it like mid 4 and 5?
I don't remember.
He says it in both of those.
I don't remember. I have when I rewatch them, I'll tell you. I only saw 4 and 5 once each, and I don't remember anything.
Same
about
here.
them.
Same here.
So.
I've only seen them once. And
Did you catch The Wire's John Doman?
I of course did. Rawls.
Yeah. Wow.
He showed up.
Wow. That was great.
But just great again. Like the Die Hard movies to this point, anyway. We'll see. Although I think the fourth one does a good job too.
Mm-hmm.
They cast interesting sort of character actors.
Yeah,
Like
they do.
They don't really go for it. Like, you've got Bruce Willis. He's your movie star. And that's a problem I have with modern, not to sound like fucking get off my lawn or whatever, but like mainstream movies now, a lot of times they feel the need to cast big actors in every role.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
the
no,
fact
you're
that
right.
Jeremy Irons is playing Alfred the Butler is
Yeah.
like a bummer. Like, you don't need that. Michael Guff is good enough.
Yeah, or Michael Go.
Is that how you pronounce it?
You say whatever you want.
But
yeah.
The fact that you can put just John Doman, like, that's good enough, you know?
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the fourth one next week, but I feel like it's plenty. Pop Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Timothy Oliphant and Maggie Q in there. That's good enough. They're interesting looking. They're good actors. That's all you need. You have Bruce fucking Willis.
Right. Can I say something else about this movie, too? As opposed to, since we brought it up in the first two movies, there, as far as I could tell, and in my opinion, in this third entry, there are no dumb protagonists who are fighting McClane every way. Like, everyone's on the same page, which is kind of refreshing. He doesn't have, like, there's no cop or boss telling him the entire time, you know.
There's a little bit of, like, his chief sort of like, McClane, you're crazy.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't interfere stupidly with what's going on. He's trying to help. You know what I'm saying?
He trusts McClane. I appreciate that too, because it's sort of continuity. Like, he's been.
Yeah, we don't need to see it again.
Yeah,
we don't need to see the chief reaming him out again. Yeah, that was nice.
Absolutely. And I appreciated it because there's a line, sort of an annoying line of dialogue in the first movie where he refers to it as like, that's not what my chief says back home.
I know
He
my
thinks
captain
I'm
keeps
a
telling me."
fucking nut job. Hey, did you know the chiefs sometimes think their cops are crazy? And and so now we get back to this movie, and it does do that, but we don't go overboard with it.
No, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
So Die
All
Hard
right.
with a Vengeance. What do you give this one in our 5 scale?
And should we make clear, is this rating scale, this is within the franchise, or this is within just what I'd give a movie? Period.
It doesn't matter. This is what we're doing for the podcast.
So when I give my star rating, this is what I think of the movie.
Okay, yeah.
No, I'm asking.
Well,
You know.
within this franchise, you should give
See?
weight to that, but not excessively.
Okay, I'm glad I asked. I'm going to give it 5.
I'll give it 4.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
I have
very good
no-
movie, but to me 5 is like, if it's 5, then we have to have a conversation. What's better, Die Hard or Die Hard with a Vengeance? And that is not a conversation you ever have to have.
No, you don't. But I think that I don't have any problems with 5. I don't have any problems, and you know me when I review movies. If I got nothing wrong with it, why am I not going to give it 5? You know what I'm saying?
I have problems with it. It's overlong by 20 minutes. And, I just, Hey, great Michael Kamen score, though. I'm looking at my notes and just things I didn't mention. And
I didn't mention a lot.
how about
yeah.
it predicts Hillary Clinton as the 43rd president,
And
that
Donald
there's
Trump.
a Donald Trump reference. Amazing.
Yeah.
And interesting, it is I would say, a better ferry boat climax than The Dark Knight.
Yeah, if there's any weak parts of The Dark Knight, you're right. But ferry boat, yeah, technically that's kind of a barge, but I'll give it to you. That's fine.
Thanks.
Yeah, you get that. I'm not a nautical specialist, so that's fine.
There you go. Okay, so that's Die Hard with a Vengeance. Tune in next week. Please do. We'll be talking about Live Free or Die Hard and A Good Day to Die Hard.